Tell me if this deeply frustrating scenario sounds familiar. You wake up, grab your morning coffee, and walk over to your closet. You pull the doors open, and there it is, an absolute mountain of fabric. Hundreds of hangers, neatly folded piles of jeans, sweaters you haven't touched since 2019, and shirts in almost every imaginable color. You have spent years and probably thousands of dollars curating this exact collection. But as you stand there, staring at an inventory that could easily rival a small boutique, a very specific, almost suffocating feeling washes over you. Your eyes glaze over, you let out a heavy sigh, and the exact same thought echoes loudly in your mind. I literally have absolutely nothing to wear. If this is your daily morning routine, welcome to the club. You are about to feel very, very seen. Society has a lot of quick, judgmental labels for this exact moment. Your partner might roll their eyes and call you indecisive. Your parents might call it being spoiled, materialistic, or ungrateful. Modern consumer culture tells you that you just haven't found your true personal style yet, or that you desperately need to go on another shopping spree to fix those missing gaps in your wardrobe. We are constantly conditioned to believe that standing completely frozen in front of a closet packed with clothes is a sign of superficial vanity, a trivial, dramatic problem that only people who are obsessed with their physical appearance struggle with. But what if I told you that this daily paralysis has absolutely nothing to do with clothes, fashion, or how you look? You aren't broken, you aren't greedy, and you certainly don't need to buy another identical pair of black pants. When you stand in front of that closet and your brain suddenly short-circuits, you are not experiencing a fashion crisis. You are experiencing a profound, biologically measurable system failure, known in behavioral psychology as the paradox of choice, which is rapidly triggering a state of severe cognitive overload. Your brain isn't looking for a shirt, it is desperately trying to process a massive, chaotic data set, while its daily energy reserves are actively being drained. While everyone else thinks you are just being unnecessarily picky about a color palette, your prefrontal cortex, the logical, decision-making center of your brain, is literally under siege. It is looking at those 150 different items of clothing and attempting to calculate thousands of potential micro-decisions, weather changes, social variables, and future scenarios all at the exact same time. And just like an old computer that has 95 tabs open simultaneously, your mental processor simply freezes. It crashes. It throws a systemic error code to protect itself from further exhaustion. And that error code sounds exactly like, "I have nothing to wear." So, let's take a look under the hood and decode the magnificent, invisible machinery of your mind. Because once you understand the hidden neuroscience behind your daily outfit struggle, you will never look at your wardrobe the same way again. To truly understand why your mind shuts down in front of a perfectly good wardrobe, we have to examine the biological battery that powers your daily life. Your brain is a massive energy consumer, and its most expensive operation takes place right behind your forehead, in the prefrontal cortex. This is the logical, analytical command center responsible for every choice you make. But here is the fascinating catch. The prefrontal cortex does not have an infinite power supply. Every morning, you wake up with a finite, strictly limited budget of decision-making energy for the day. In behavioral psychology, this rapid draining of your mental battery is known as decision fatigue. The fascinating truth about your neurological wiring is that your brain does not categorize decisions by their level of importance. From a neurological standpoint, the cognitive mechanics required to choose between a navy blue sweater and a black hoodie use the exact same chemical pathways and burn the exact same amount of cognitive fuel as deciding how to respond to an urgent, high-stakes email from your boss. When you stand in front of a closet containing 80 different garments, your brain is suddenly forced into an intense crossfire of micro-decisions. Will it rain? Is this too formal? Does this fabric itch? Did I wear this exact same thing last Tuesday? Before you've even left your bedroom, your prefrontal cortex has burned through a massive chunk of its daily energy reserve. But the scientific explanation goes even deeper than simple energy mechanics. The real reason you cannot find anything to wear lies in a complex psychological framework known as future self-continuity. You see, your closet is not actually a storage space for fabric. It is a highly emotional, physical museum of your multiple competing identities.
Think about what is actually hanging in there right now. There's the past you, the clothes from 5 years ago that no longer fit, but throwing them away feels like erasing a part of your history. Then there's the fantasy you, those overly ambitious, uncomfortable, or wildly colorful outfits you bought for a vibrant, highly social lifestyle that doesn't align with your actual routine. And finally, there's the present you, the exhausted person who is just trying to get through a regular Tuesday. When you open those closet doors, you're not simply picking out a garment, you're forcing your brain to negotiate with ghosts. You're rapidly scrolling through different versions of your identity, experiencing a microscopic existential crisis every single morning. Choosing an outfit forces you to definitively declare who you're going to be for the next 12 hours, and simultaneously mourn the versions of yourself that you're leaving on the hanger. It's a surprisingly heavy cognitive load. This is precisely why, despite owning a massive collection of clothing, you instinctively gravitate toward the exact same 5 safe outfits every single week. This is not laziness, and it's certainly not a lack of fashion sense. Your brain is executing a brilliant, deeply ingrained evolutionary survival strategy known as cognitive offloading. By grabbing that same gray sweater or those identical black jeans, your nervous system is actively bypassing the chaotic identity negotiation process. It's aggressively protecting your prefrontal cortex, conserving your precious cognitive energy so you can use it to survive the actual complexities of the modern world.
In the previous section, we established that ignoring 90% of your wardrobe and gravitating toward the exact same 5 safe outfits is actually a brilliant evolutionary strategy for cognitive offloading. You are actively protecting your prefrontal cortex from unnecessary strain. But to keep this documentary honest, we have to hold a mirror up to the dark side of this survival mechanism. We have to talk about the hidden psychological toll, because building a museum of competing identities inside your bedroom comes with a massive, invisible price tag. This is the ultimate paradox of modern abundance. You spent years buying all of those clothes to give yourself absolute freedom. Consumer culture convinced you that having endless options equals having total control over how the world perceives you. You genuinely thought you were building a vibrant, beautiful toolbox for self-expression. But somewhere along the line, a very delicate boundary was crossed, and that toolbox quietly morphed into a psychological cage. The real tragedy of your daily closet paralysis is not simply about running late for work. It is about the heavy emotional tax you were forced to pay before your day is even officially started. Every morning, when you stand there staring blankly at the hangers, your brain is unknowingly absorbing microdoses of guilt from almost every single direction. When your eyes brush past a piece of clothing with the store tag still attached, you experience a sharp, uncomfortable spike of financial guilt. When you look at the rigid denim jeans you kept from 5 years ago that no longer fit your current body, you are hit with a quiet wave of physical shame. When you see that bold, adventurous, highly fashionable jacket you bought but never had the courage to actually wear out of the house, you feel a profound sense of imposter syndrome. Your wardrobe is constantly demanding an emotional performance from you, and it is deeply exhausting. You are caught in a vicious cycle dictated by modern society's friction. The outside world constantly demands that you present a flawlessly curated, ever-evolving version of yourself. So to fix the crushing anxiety of having nothing to wear, what do you instinctively do? You go shopping. You convince yourself that buying the perfect pair of trousers or the ultimate basic t-shirt will magically solve your morning paralysis. But you are trying to put out a fire with gasoline. Adding more data to an already crashing cognitive processor does not fix the machine. It only accelerates the system failure. You end up stepping out of your front door wearing the exact same comfortable, safe sweater, not because you feel empowered by it, but because you feel completely defeated by your own possessions. Your morning routine, which is supposed to be a quiet, grounding launchpad for the rest of your day, has quietly turned into a daily hostage situation where you are constantly apologizing to the person you thought you were supposed to be. So what does all of this actually mean? If you stand completely frozen in front of a closet overflowing with clothes every single morning, constantly feeling like you have nothing to wear, you are not a materialistic, spoiled, or indecisive person. You are simply experiencing the heavy, exhausting weight of cognitive overload and future self-continuity. Society wants you to believe that you just need to shop more or that you lack a proper sense of style.
But the reality is much more fascinating. Your prefrontal cortex is not failing you, it is actively trying to save you. It is aggressively protecting its limited daily energy reserves by desperately searching for a safe, predictable uniform in a massive sea of chaotic, competing identities. You aren't broken. You aren't ungrateful. You are just a deeply complex human being whose brain is trying to survive a modern environment filled with too many choices. Wearing the same comfortable outfit every single week is not a defeat, it is a brilliant biological victory of cognitive offloading. So what is your physical proof? What is the exact color and type of that one specific, intensely comforting item, that hoodie, sweater, or pair of jeans that you end up wearing 3 times a week just to survive the morning? Confess it down in the comments so we can all feel a little less alone in this psychological museum. If this breakdown hit home for you and completely changed the way you look at your morning routine, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to understand the other unspoken truths about how your mind works, the next video is going to hit you even harder. Tap the screen to keep decoding your behavior, and I will see you there.